This time we'll take a look at some of the different multi-tools from SOG. We've got a couple from them. Real popular brand. We're real happy with them. Been using them for many years. Some of the most solid multi-tools out there. We've got 4 to look at here. And we've done reviews on some of these already. I'm pretty sure we did a review on this standard multi-tool. Then the EOD with the auto assist opening knives or blades on the outside. We've also got another SOG, the large tool. This one's a little older, the older power lock. And then we got this little cross cut. And I think they all show the real attention to detail quality and design of these multi-tools. First off, like I said, they're some of the most solidly built ones. They use the typically more uncomfortable style. In other words, the sharp part of the channel is outside when you're using the tool. And on this one, this simpler one, which is designed to be lighter weight and a little smaller, they didn't bother to cover those. Now, they're not horrible. They're not as bad as something like one of these old cheap ones that are just less manufacturing processes, so they've left some sharper edges here. And these are actually a little uncomfortable without even using them. Just a little bit uncomfortable to hold because of the sharp edges. Where these have been, whatever they do to file them down or smooth them down. So even though it's technically similar to the same thing, just more crude and more refined. So when you're holding them, they don't feel too bad, but you can tell that there's a channel there. And if you really had to apply some pressure, and these can apply some pressure because of their the way that their gears work, you would feel it in your hands. So this one, while it can do some heavy duty work, it wouldn't be as comfortable as, let's say, this one, which is just a hair bigger. But even though it has the channels on the outside, it's got this cover, which is hinged up at the top. You just sort of just break the friction that's holding it together there, and it's pivoted back here. It hides the blades and tools that are in the handle here, but it also makes it very comfortable to use. It's just a little bit sharp on the back edges here, just a little bit, but not too bad. So this is the large power lock. The big thing about the SOGs, the SOGs, is these gears, and probably do better research than I'm going to offer here, but the idea is that it allows their jaws to open quite a bit larger. There's a Leatherman. Now this Leatherman can open to that far, where the SOG can open that far. Pretty big difference there. And it's not just that it can open that far, but it's effective at that big. There's a cheap one. Let's get a Gerber. Pretty close to a Gerber. Hard to say. I think they're about equal. I wouldn't say one's really any bigger than the other. But again, very effective from out here because the gears are working for you. So you wouldn't want to get yourself pinched in the jaws of one of these. This newer one has some tools that are available on the outside so that you can use them without the pliers being open. It also has some tools under a shroud here that are available when the tool is open as well. The crosscut only has tools available when it's open. So these are a little older. Actually, they're discontinued now too. But a great scissors. Again, it can open real wide. Here's a Leatherman, similar size. And there's a big difference there on how big the Leatherman can open and how big the SOG can open. And then they're both got springs on them. Here's a Gerber. but if you need to open it a little bit more, and it'll still be effective that wide. So just just something about the way that they're made gives that little advantage. They're very well made too. The design might have a few more, well, they could look a little bit more complicated, but well executed. So we're real happy with the SOGs. They come in a sheath like this right now. This is the sheath that came with this large one. And it's a decent sheath. It's definitely well made. The materials are strong. My biggest complaint, or its weak link in my opinion, is this small 1-inch like postage stamp size piece of Velcro and the lid, which offers enough, in my opinion, enough material to make it easy to open. But even under ideal circumstances, you're only going to get so much life out of a 1-inch piece of Velcro. So maybe they assume that people are going to take them to bigger and better sheaths like this Eagle sheath, a company that makes sheaths for a living. And while it still uses Velcro, we're probably talking twice as much area. Or something like this Tactical Assault Gear, which holds it well with an even larger piece of Velcro, but also a redundant clasp. So if you're not going to be using your tool, there's almost no chance of losing it. I think the tools are well made. A nice feature of them is that they'll open sort of like a butterfly knife. These are all not well enough used to be loose yet, but you can see one-handed I can open it and close it up, which is again is nice, especially on this one, where if you needed access to blade quickly, you could get it with one hand. It's not too difficult to close it with one hand safely. Your finger's never in the way of the blade. And then if I needed to use the pliers or one of the inside tools, it's pretty easy to open it up. It's not spring assisted, but because of the way that the handles work, as you open the handles, the gear heads will open. In other words, if I hold the plier heads, I can't open the handles without also spreading the gear heads. Unlike something like the Leatherman design, where if I hold this closed, I can break open the handles, which allows you to do things like have a ruler. But the SOGs also can have a ruler, or also do have a ruler. They just happen to have their gear head or their plier head open while you're using the ruler. So again, I don't know if one design's better or worse. I do know that this design is very strong. When someone's, you can use these the other way too. If you had to span something open, where with some of these designs, if you wanted to span something open with any amount of resistance, you're just going to move your handles. The SOGs have a couple of different locking systems. In this older power lock, the tool would come out and it'll engage the power lock here. You can see there's a bit of a notch on the back of the tool there. And it'll engage the lock. You heard it kind of click there. And now it's locked into position. When you push on the back here, that comes up and now it can close. So that's the power lock. And then on the newer one, they have this sort of same concept, but they're individual. And then this way, when a tool comes out, it locks into place the same exact way. There's that same notch on the back of the tool, and it locks into place. It's just that now you can choose which one you're going to let up. And if you had multiple tools out, or like this, you had a tool that takes up 3 compared to this tool that just takes 1, it doesn't matter, and you don't have to open the whole lock every time. So just a couple of different ways. And then on their other types, they don't even have so much of a lock. So this is the SOG multi-tools. High quality multi-tools, been doing them for a long time. Some of our favorites.